Well, let's go live now to Sreeram Chaulia, Professor and Dean at the Jindal School of International Affairs, to get some more updates on this surprise visit by Donald Trump to Afghanistan. Sir, thanks for joining us. Great to have you on the programme today. Obviously, as our correspondent Maria just said, great photo opportunity, PR for the election. What do you think was the principal purpose, though, of Trump's surprise visit to Afghanistan?
Well, there's one thing which is constant about Donald Trump, which is he's very inward-looking and domestically oriented. I don't think he's looking to, maintain hegemony in different regions of the world. He's a very different president from all his predecessors. So pulling out of Afghanistan, he really, I think, is the cornerstone achievement he wants to show before the next presidential election. I brought the boys home. We're not going to waste money over these, long drawn-out conflicts in far-flung regions of the world. We are going to focus on domestic issues. I think, in that sense, this is a steady aspect of Trump's line of thinking. And he believes that, given the long months of negotiations that they've already done with the Taliban, that they, will eventually do it, because already a drawdown has started. I mean, the U.S. Officially has reduced its numbers by more than 2,000 troops in the last 1 year. And so hardly another 12,000 or so are left. And Trump wants to cut it down sharper and sharper so that he can show to voters in the U.S. that, I'm not a war president and I don't believe in this, old logic of liberal hegemony anymore. So in that sense, it's a very radical way of foreign policy. But there are people opposing it. There are people in the Pentagon and also some of their allies in Afghanistan and in the region who want U.S. forces to continue to be there. So it's a struggle, and I see this off-again, on-again peace process as, a manifestation of this domestic struggle that's going on between different factions in the U.S. government.
And how realistic can we be about getting a peace deal this time round? There have been, as we mentioned, there are so many stop-start processes, so many mediators involved. Can we see success this time?
I think Trump is desperate. He's trying to put on a brave face and saying that the Taliban want the peace agreement badly. But if you look at the ground situation, the Taliban continue to make gains, and the violence, the degree of control that the Taliban has over the warfare has increased. And with U.S. forces set to draw down, they know they can wait them out and eventually win this war. So Trump is simply, trying to show some bravado. The reality is that he needs this deal much more than the Taliban do, because Taliban anyway have an advantage on the battlefield and in their potential negotiations with the Afghan state, which is quite weak. So I think the prospects of a deal are there. It may not be good for security in the region. It may be another situation where the U.S. is just, packing its bag and leaving. Isolationist Trump doing his old trick again. But whether this stabilizes the region is a bigger question. But I think Trump doesn't really care. That's the point about him. He doesn't really care about maintaining order or stability in different regions of the world. And in that sense, for him, a victory is a very pure political victory for domestic gains, and that's all he wants to achieve through the process. So I think he wants a deal, and with North Korea also stalled, his legacy really is in question. He's got less than 12 months for the re-election, and he wants to show a success. And I think the Taliban know that they're going to extract a lot of concessions. Pakistan, which backs the Taliban, is going to try and extract more concessions. And in the process, the Afghan state is going to become weaker. So really, the onus is on the countries in the region, the neighbors of Afghanistan, to try and stabilize it, because as far as the old role of the U.S. being the policeman or the sheriff who will maintain order and balance of power, all that is over, and Trump is simply saying, I give up, but simply putting a brave face or a sheen on it.
All right, Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs. Thanks for that update today on that visit.